The causations of crime agree disagree activity. Um, there's two components to it as you're looking at it. One component is to um, explain the biological, psychological, sociological causes of crime and use examples. I'll give some examples. Fairly straightforward in the sense that right in there there's a reading that explains that. Also, in slide number 11 in the notebook, there is a definition, uh, examples of each one. I'm going to move my fat face out of the way. There's examples of each one. Biological. Remember we talked about that. But we talked about that briefly in class too. The mental illness, bipolar, substance deficiencies, and neurological factors, psychological, learn nature versus nurture. Are you a product of how you were raised, or are you a product of how your environment? Substance abuse is there's also antisocial personalities, sociopathic personalities, and then sociological. This is the idea that your economic conditions, the lower class value system. In other words, people that grow in poverty or have a sense of a disorganized environment may be affected by their sociological environment, and then all three of these factors taken together or separately may encourage crime. It may encourage or may have the likelihood to encourage more criminal activity. Okay, so sorry, I'm doing some world stuff here. So that's your first part, and also in here you can look at, like I talked about, for example, with biology, we talked about, here's one of the examples I showed in class. The idea that this was a while ago, but it's a good example of that's the San Francisco supervisor who killed his other supervisor and the mayor, uh, the, and he was lured to manslaughter because of diminished capacity due to the having too much junk food, and it affected his behavior. Um, Genetic predispositions, looking at brain tumors might cause uncontrollable rage. And there was a relationship between having diets high in sugar and inmates that were placed on a modified diet, um, showed a decline in disciplinary actions. But I will tell you that, remember, the Tukey defense as is not admissible in court anymore, but there is a correlation. But ultimately, you are responsible for your own behavior. In psychology, looking at psychopathy, and the Ted Bundy case would be an example. So you're finding a couple of different examples. This reading will really help you to nail that down, to find them, but also the notebook will also help you to define that. The next piece is part two, which is based on, and I'm going to examine this based on this article. I told you searching might be your best friend here, hitting the Control F and doing some searches for keywords like, prison or something along those lines, will help you to find information. And you're going to define, oh, I don't need to open that again. You're going to define whether you agree or disagree, like longer prison sentences to crime. And then you're going to highlight here, using the highlight tool, whether you agree or disagree with that. Now I can't emphasize this enough. It's not based on whether you agree or disagree yourself. You need to use evidence from the reading. You need to use evidence from the reading. It's not just, oh, I agree or disagree. It has to be evidence from the reading that supports your agreement or disagreement. So the claim supported with evidence. Okay, so that explains what's going on, and with this particular, as we start looking at the last of the three C's, the causes of crime.